Hi, and in today's Microsoft Word tutorial I'm going to show you how to create an emoji in Word and to save it as a picture file so that you can use it in other documents and of course online. So the first thing we need to do is just pop on the internet and take a screenshot of the emoji we want for our design. So if we go to images, and then you can just scroll through all these different images. Try to select one that's relatively good quality because we're just going to take a screenshot such as this one. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. There we go. And then in my Word document I'm going to go to Insert, Picture, Picture from File, and then just insert my screenshot. Now it's quite important to make your emojis quite big so that we can just use them as a template. Now I want to move this picture around my document, but as you can see at the moment it won't move. So make sure this picture is highlighted, go up to Picture Format, go along to Wrap Text, click on the drop down and select In Front of Text. And now you can move this around your document. So I'm just going to move it down to about here. And now what we need to do is I'm going to choose this emoji here, but you can choose any of these, and I'll show you how to use the shapes so that you can make any of these designs. So let's go up to Insert, Shape, and I'm going to go to the circle. Now in order to get a perfect circle, you need to hold down the Shift key as you click and drag. So just click and drag, and I'm going to make mine about this big. Now each shape, when it's formatted, will come with an outline or a border and a fill shape. So once you've selected your shape, make sure you're on the Shape Format tab. Go along to Format Pane. If this icon doesn't appear, double click on your shape and you'll have this menu that will appear. Now make sure you're on this bucket icon. Go down to Line, which refers to the border, and we want a solid line. Go down to the colour, click on the drop down, go down to More Colours, and then you have your colour wheel, but more importantly you have this eyedropper tool. Now what we want to do is select the colour for the outline around the outside of this circle. So we're going to click on the eyedropper tool, and as you can see this circle appears, and as I pull it over other elements of my document you'll see that it magnifies whatever I'm moving over the top of, which will allow us to go to the edge of our circle, select this orange and click. And once you've selected it, you'll see it will come up in this box here. Now this is a slight gradient, but we can have a look at that once we do the internal gradient shape, and then just click OK. Now you can barely see the outline here, so we need to make that a bit wider. So go back over to the menu and go to Width, and then click on the up arrow, and then just keep clicking until you're happy with the width of that border. So I'm going to take mine up to probably 9.5. Now at the moment we've got this on a solid line, but as you can see there is a slight gradient in the colours. So we can go to gradient line here, and this is my default, so I'm just going to get rid of these. So on this gradient here you need to put in your two colours. So the main gradient, if I click on this icon here, go to colour, and then recent colours will show up that colour we selected with our eyedropper. Click on that one, and as you can see the top area of the circle has come up with that particular colour. Click on the other icon here, go to colour, go to more colours, click on the eyedropper tool, and then we can select a slightly lighter orange from our emoji and click OK. That will give us a little bit more of a gradient, as you can see with these emojis here. It's not just a solid circle and it's not just a solid outline. Once you're happy with that, we can go ahead and do the internal circle gradient. So go back over to the menu and again go to gradient fill. So these colours aren't quite right, So I'm going to click on my first gradient, go to more colours, and I'm going to go to white. And the reason I'm going to do that is you can just see at the very top of this emoji it's almost white, and that just gives it that gradient to make it look like it's actually a sphere rather than just a plain circle. Now we want to add a few in the middle here, because as you can see, as the gradient goes through, it gets darker in the middle and then starts to go a bit lighter. So I want to add some more of these gradient stops. So in order to do that, I just simply go up to the gradient stop, add gradient stop and click. Now I've got one in the middle. Now this basically represents the top of your circle, the middle of the circle and the bottom of the circle. So we'll click on this center one, go to colours, go to more colours, click on the eyedropper tool, and we're going to go around somewhere just between the eyes. There we go, and click OK. Now you can get quite fancy with this gradient and put as many stops in as you want to. So I'm going to move mine to about there. Then I'm going to add another one. Click on colour, more colours, eyedropper tool, and then I'm going to go to this slightly darker area in the middle. Click OK. And as you move these tools here, these little sliders, you see that my gradient will slightly move and adjust according to where I place these stops. So I'm going to put this one right in the middle, since it's in the middle of the face. Then I'm going to add another one, go to colours, more colours, and this time we'll go just to the side of the mouth, just below, around about here. Click OK. And then the very last one, click that one, go to colours, more colours, eyedropper tool, and then right down at the bottom we'll have that very bright yellow, and click OK. And then you can just continue to move these around until you're completely happy. Once you've done that, we're going to move on to the facial features. So I'm just going to zoom in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to crop this image just to ensure that I've just got the emoji that I want. So I'm going to highlight it, make sure I'm on picture format, go along to the crop tool, click on the drop down and select crop. Then these black markers will appear around the outside of your image. Just grab them and move them to the edge of where you want your image, and then press enter. And then I'm just going to change the size of this so it's roughly the same size as the emoji, or I can do it the other way around. I can click on this one, move it over the top, just click and drag. Don't forget to hold the shift key. Don't forget to hold the shift key down so that you maintain that circle. Okay, so let's now go up to insert shapes, and now let's go and find the moon shape here. So again with this you just click and drag. Don't worry, it's come out the other way around. Now there's this small icon here which is a circular arrow. Grab that and pull that moon around so that it's horizontal. Now we're going to move over the top of the smile. We're going to adjust the height and then adjust the width so that we've got the same width. We're going to adjust this bit in the middle, so pull that up there. You can keep adjusting and pulling it as much as you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you're happy with that, you can go up and move it onto your emoji. Now to ensure this is perfectly centered, if you highlight this shape, hold the Command or Control key down and click on the circle, make sure you're on shape format, go along to align and go down to align to center. And it will mean that these are perfectly lined up. Now again, we're going to use the gradient to insert the brown of the mouth. And for this one, we'll actually get rid of the border. So make sure you're on the shape. Make sure you've selected the shape. Go to line, click no line. Go to gradient fill. Click on this side here. Go to color, more colors, eyedropper tool. Let's go down to the brown of the mouth. Click OK. Don't worry that this gradient's going this way because we'll sort that out shortly. Go to the next gradient marker, click on the color, more colors, eyedropper tool. Let's go down to the lighter color. Okay, and then click OK. Now we want to change the direction of this gradient. So if we go up to direction here, because we've actually transformed our shape and moved it from the position of the moon and then turned it into a smile, the gradients don't quite correlate with how it sits at the moment. So left and right is actually top and bottom. So we have to go, sorry you can't see all the gradients, but you'll get the idea. You need to go along to the left and right. So I would go to linear left, which will mean the darker shade at the top and the lighter shade at the bottom. Now, just looking at this emoji, I can see there is actually a faint outline around the outside. So let's go back to our line, go to solid line, and we're going to go down to color, and then we're going to go to recent colors and go to the darkest brown. Sorry you can't see, it's off the screen. And again, once you've done that, you can go down to the width and then just increase the width size if you want to, probably to about there. Perfect. Now, before we go ahead and make the teeth, I'm just going to make a copy of this shape because we may have to overlay it over the top of the teeth to make it perfect. And I'll come back and show you how to do that. So copy and paste it, Command or Control C, Command or Control V, and then we're just going to move it to the bottom. Now again, we're going to make another copy of it, Command or Control C, Command or Control V, and then we're just going to change the colours and the outline to form the teeth. So we're going to take the outline away, go to line and click no line. And then for the teeth, we're going to do another gradient, but this time in the opposite direction. So again, click on your gradient marker, go to color, more colors, eyedropper tool. Then we're going to go to the grey at the edge of the teeth here and click OK. Add a stop in the middle. In fact, I'm going to add 2 stops in the middle because actually the teeth are quite white in the middle. I'm going to click on this one, color, go to white, color, click on this one, color, white, click on this one, color, and then go to recents and click the grey. Now you can spread these out. And again, you need to go up to direction, and you'll need to go to linear down or linear up, it doesn't matter. Either way, you can see that it goes darker as it goes into the corner of the mouth and lighter as it comes to the front. So I'm just going to spread these out a little bit more, something like that. Okay. So now we need to slightly decrease the size of this shape and just change the angle slightly. So I'm just going to zoom in. So let's just move this shape over the teeth. Okay, so now we need to overlay this over the teeth. So let's just pull this up and you can see that the teeth end about here. Pull the yellow one down and you can see it ends about here. Now we can just change this curve slightly. If we go up to Edit Shape, click on the drop down and select Edit Points. Now this will reveal these black squares, and if you click on the black squares it will then further reveal these handles here. Now, if I click on this handle you can see how it will adjust the curve. So if I pull it out slightly to the right it will make a slightly more squared off curve. Let's do that to the other side. And then just pull this down slightly. Let's just move that to the center. Then click off it. Click back on, and then we can just make a further adjustment. Now don't worry too much about these edges because they'll be covered by the overlay of this one that I showed you earlier. Okay, so once you're happy with that, move it up to the top, and if we zoom in you can see it doesn't quite fit on the edges here. So I'm just going to move that in slightly and click off. Okay. Now it's not perfect, don't worry. We're going to grab this one, but we're going to take out the center gradient. So click on it, go up to fill and click no fill. And now we have the outline. Now before we move this outline up, what we need to do is begin to group this bunch of shapes. If we don't, it'll be very difficult to highlight this shape over the top of another shape to then group it and save it as a picture. So in order to group them, if you select the circle, hold the Command or Control key down, select the mouth, select the teeth, go to Shape Format, along to Group, click on the drop down and select Group. That will make all of these one shape. But don't worry, if you've done something wrong, you can just go back, go to Group and select Ungroup. So once you've grouped those together, let's move this mouth up, and you can see it's disappeared behind the emoji. What we need to do is bring that forward, so make sure it's highlighted, go up to Bring Forwards, click on the drop down and select Bring to Front. There we are. And then let's just move this up, just zoom in. Now what we want to do is to ensure that's perfectly lined up with the one underneath. Now, in order to use your arrow keys to slightly nudge left and right, hold down the Command or Control key and the Control key on your computer keyboard or your function key, and you should be able to gently move those shapes left and right in small increments. Let's just click off that. Great. Now if you want to make the outline of the mouth a bit thicker, you can do that by increasing the width of the line. That's completely your choice. So let's move on to the eyes. So let's go up to Insert, Shape. Let's go to the circle shape again. Now if I don't hold the Shift key down, I will actually click and drag and form an oval. So that's exactly what we'll do. Just put it over the top of the eye. I think that's about the same size. Okay, so move that to the side. And again, it's got a very small outline and then a gradient in the middle. And it's pretty similar or the same as the mouth, so you should have all of the colours from the eyedropper tool already in your recents. So once again, let's move over. Let's go to Gradient Fill. Let's go to the left-hand one, Colour, Dark Brown, opposite one, Colour, Light Brown. And let's go down to Line, Solid Line, Colour, Dark Brown. Now once you're happy with that, we can move it up. Just zoom out. Copy and paste, Command and Control C, Command and Control V. Now what we need to do now is to group these two together, but first we need to align them. So again, holding down the Command or Control key, go up to Align, Align to Middle. So they're now lined up that way, and then select Group. So now the eyes can be moved around as one. Now because we want them in the centre of the circle, highlight the circle as well by holding down Command or Control. We need to make sure they're perfectly lined up here. Go up to Align, Align to Centre. And now that's perfectly lined up in the middle. Once you're finished, we now need to group the whole thing. So remember, we've got an outline around the mouth now. but the underneath mouth and the teeth are already grouped together with the circle. So we need to group the outline, the eyes, and the circle. So holding down the Command or Control key, highlight the eyes and the outline circle, go to Group, click on the drop down and select Group. And now your emoji should move around as one. Perfect. Just looking at it, the outline to the eyes aren't quite as thick as the mouth. So I'm going to go back and ungroup, then ungroup the eyes. So just select the eyes and then ungroup. And then I'm going to go down to width and I'm going to hit the up arrow. And because they're both selected, it will adjust both of them. So I think possibly 2.25 will be fine. So back up to group and group them. And then again, go through the process of grouping everything together. And there again, it will move around as one. Now the reason you need to save this as a picture, let's just get rid of this now, is because if I reduce the size of this now, look what happens. You have a really fat border and it doesn't really look like an emoji. So let's go back and I'll show you what happens when you've imported this as an image. So the first thing we're going to do is save it. So right click, go down to Save as Picture. I'm going to save this to my desktop. I'm going to save it as Emoji1. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to save it as a PNG file. And then just click Save. Now, when I go to Insert, Picture, Picture from File, I'm on my desktop, select Emoji1, click Insert, and there we have our image. Now, I can't move it because I need to sort the wrapping out, so make sure I'm on Picture Format, go to Wrapping, select in front of text, and now I can move that image. And here's the difference. If I reduce the size of this one, it looks like an emoji. If I reduce the size of this one, it doesn't. And that's the difference. So it's quite important that you do save it as an image. Plus, if you want to go ahead and use this somewhere else, such as a website or just sending somebody a picture, or you can customize them and use your own emojis. So I hope that's helped you today. If it has, please subscribe and have a great day.